Hey, welcome to Playing for Keeps, the show where we take a deep dive into emotional intelligence, sex, love, adult attachment theory, mental health, therapy, and everything in between that creates great relationships. Your host, DJ, is a certified life coach and emotional intelligence practitioner. She's here to be of service to all the listeners interested in love and relationship. Now, here's your host, DJ.
Good morning to all of the listeners out there. It's your girl DJ with Playing for Keeps. It's a beautiful day in Atlanta, Georgia. The sun is out, but it's not too hot, which is a blessing here. Despite everything going on in the world with the coronavirus, I'm doing my best to concentrate on all of the beauty and positivity that's around me. I am hoping that you guys are able to do the same thing. It's definitely a challenge with everything going on. We've all been impacted in some kind of way, whether someone's lost a job that you know, or maybe you've lost a job. Loved ones are passing away due to this virus, and even just staying in the house, not being able to do your normal activities. Maybe you were someone who liked to go out to the movies, to the club, to hang out with friends. It's definitely been a hard time for everybody. So I am sending prayers and positive energy and vibes to everyone's way around the world. But trying to stay positive is definitely the best thing to do despite everything that's going on. And we will all get through this, and we will all be able to push through. So it's definitely a meme Monday at Playing for Keeps. I have another meme that I would like to take about 10 minutes to dissect and share. Keep in mind, this meme is supposed to be funny, so I'm probably not going to read it out in a funny way. So forgive me in advance, but hopefully you get the gist of the meme and what I am trying to say about the meme in regards to relationships. So the meme reads, "You are what you attract. God, if I ain't shit, then say that then," with a little swirly smiley face at the end of the emoji. Now, the meme is supposed to be funny. I probably didn't read it in a funny way, and I won't take away from that at all. But I am a huge believer in the law of attraction, and not just for the quote-unquote mystical things tied to it. Even though I do believe as humans, when we think a thought and we truly believe in that thought and we want to manifest it in our real lives, I do believe that we are capable of doing that. But that's a topic for another day. For people who think on a more quote unquote practical, logical standpoint, which I think on a pretty logical standpoint, but some people would disagree with me. But anyway, I have another way of putting it that, to me, it's basically the same thing. So keep your words positive because your words become behaviors. Keep your behaviors positive because your behaviors become habits. Keep your habits positive because your habits become values. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. Why do I bring this up on our relationship podcast? When you as an individual feel that all dudes ain't shit, or all women are bees, or nag too much and they're gold diggers, or whatever story you tell yourself due to past experiences, it creates a chain reaction, the same chain reaction that I kind of just mentioned. You think love isn't real. You begin to think that. And you, along with other things, like what I just said about dudes and girls ain't shit. Those words of love isn't real becomes habits. For example, you may decide to go out on a date through a dating app, through a friend, or whatever. You're out on this date, and your attitude may reflect your thoughts and your words. When someone asks you about past relationships, or your actions may subconsciously put out there that you don't need a stable partner as a defense mechanism to not get hurt, because you refuse to be vulnerable in the right moment. So it's not good to be vulnerable all the time, especially in the beginning, just being vulnerable all the time, but in the right moments, it's good to be vulnerable. It's good to show yourself, because that's how you really build connection with someone. Always putting on this exterior and, because you don't want to look too clingy or you don't want to look a certain way is not authentic. It's always good to be yourself, because when you're yourself, and then if that person accepts you, then you have nothing to hide. Versus if you do kind of drive that person away, then okay, that person just isn't for you, and that's just the universe just working its way. So the right people will be in your life. And then like I said, you're not being vulnerable in the right moments. You're putting up this invisible wall of all dudes and girls ain't shit and love isn't real. That becomes your value. And your value is kind of what is presented to the world. And unfortunately, what will come to you and what will stick are those type of people, because that's what you're presenting to the world. This is the mindset that you're putting out there, and it's showing in your attitude and your actions that this is what you believe. So this is what will come to you. And then the destiny part is, of course, you either end up alone or you're dealing with somebody who really ain't shit. So there's another saying that I like: your attitudes generate your behaviors towards others. Your behaviors determine who is attracted to you. The people attracted to you determine your relationships. You also could be the nicest person alive. You give your partners anything and everything they want, and you don't ask for nothing in return, and hope and pray in the back of your head that one day they will reciprocate. People who have no boundaries usually attract what they believe within themselves. Most of the time, when you're a partner who lacks boundaries, you lack self-esteem. You tend to make work or your partner's problems your identity. You focus on being Bob the Builder because you feel it's hard finding partners who have it all together, or because you feel that in a real relationship, you have to put in major work for a person to love you. So you bend over backwards to prove your worth. With these inner beliefs, these are the kind of lovers you will attract. So what you believe to be true for you is a real thing. What you believe to be true, period, is a real thing and will attract those kind of people and those kind of situations in your life. So like I said, if you're somebody who believes that you have to work extremely hard to feel a genuine connection with somebody, or for that person to really love you, you have to bend over backwards. Those are the kind of situations and relationships that are going to come to your doormat, versus just a stable kind of love. I know even a lot of people, when they even think of that, it's just kind of like, what? It's totally opposite from the movies and just everything that Hollywood presents, right? Like there's always just some major conflict, and then the guy realizes, oh, she's the one, and she, but it doesn't have to be that way, not in real life. It just brings a lot of complications, that push-pull dynamic in relationships that's just not healthy. It's emotionally draining, and it's just not. It's not the move, guys. It's not the move at all. So it's, if you want a stable relationship for real, it's really doing the inner work, and the way you think, the way you feel about yourself, your values, your goals, your self-worth, your self-love within yourself. All of those things you will need to work on. And then when you meet someone, it's how do you bring all of that to the table while also being serving to them in the best way you can without leaving yourself out. So, love with another person it's an amazing thing, but it's not meant for you to go into the relationship and then totally forget about who you are as a person. So that is not what love is meant to be. And I think that that's where the confusion comes in, especially for women. They tend to leave themselves out of the equation, and then they go into relationships full in, all in, and then towards the middle, the end or whatever, they're so unhappy because they giving everything. Same way women need to come into, you come in with all of you, everything. Don't forget anything as far as who you are, your values, things you do for yourself. All of that stuff should also be included within your relationship. So if you are someone who thinks love and relationships ain't shit, the first thing you need to do is look within yourself. Think about your thoughts and the way you talk around love and relationships, the energy and the attitude you give off when the opportunity comes your way. Whether you're someone who gives too much or someone who doesn't do enough while you're in a relationship, it all starts with you. And once you do the work within yourself, you will attract what you've been working towards. So that's all I have for today. I am hoping you guys enjoyed this little mean talk, TED Talk, whatever you want to call it. If you want to come on the show, as far as maybe speaking on an issue, relationships, anything I've talked about, maybe you want to come on and talk about something you learned, where you've grown from, my email is info@p4kdating.com. And until next time, thank you guys for listening. Have a great one.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. If you liked this podcast, please download and subscribe. If there's anything you would like to talk about in regards to relationships, or would like to be a guest on the show to speak on relationships or get advice, you can always connect via social media at Playing for Keeps or email DJ at info@p4kdating.com. Thank you for tuning in, and bye for now.